Mr. Speaker, the women of Iran are standing shoulder to shoulder in the streets protesting against the rigged, corrupt Iranian elections. At least that's how it began. Now these legions of women, mostly wearing black, full-length Islamic dress, stand in defiance of their government's treatment of women. These women have shed their blood, suffered the same beatings and imprisonment as men. Some have sacrificed their very lives. In America, our hearts ached as we watched the video of Nada Agha Sultan. She was shot by her own government henchmen as she walked through the streets. She bled to death in that street, a martyr for democracy in Iran. Nada was only 26 years old, but her voice still cries from the grave that the people of Iran demand human rights, equality, and freedom from tyranny. Young women like a girl named Parsi told reporters, and I quote, "This regime is against all humanity, more specifically against all women." She continues, "Lots of girls and women in these demonstrations. They are all angry, ready to explode, scream out, and let the world hear their voices. I want the world to know that as a woman in this country, I have no freedom." The women of Iran have a rich history of fighting for freedom. In the early 1900s in Persia, later called Iran, Britain and Russia tried to rule Persia through a puppet government. In 1906, the Persian people fought the Shah and constitutional republic. They had a Congress called the Mejlis to make their laws. American economics expert Morgan Schuster was appointed to that democratic government in 1911 to organize Persia's finances. At that time, members of the Mejlis were threatened or bribed by Russia with support from Great Britain to disband that constitutional government. Schuster wrote in his memoirs about Persian women who armed themselves and marched on the Congress. He writes about those bold, brave women. Out from their walled courtyards and harems marched 300 women with the flush of undying determination in their cheeks. They were clad in plain black robes with white nets of veils drooped over their faces. Many held pistols under their skirts or in the folds of their sleeves. Straight to the Congress they went. These Persian mothers, wives, and daughters dropped their veils, waved their pistols, saying they had decided to kill their husbands and sons and leave behind their own bodies if the Congress waived in their duty to uphold liberty and dignity of the Persian people and the nation. Because of these courageous women 100 years ago, the Persian Congress stood firm in their struggle for liberty and freedom for the people. However, Russian Cossacks marched in Tehran a week later, disbanded the government by force, and executed every constitutionalist they could find. History speaks to the courage and bravery of Iranian women that goes back for centuries. It's no surprise they are again at the forefront of the struggle for human rights and dignity in Iran. The women of Iran are not property of the government and should not be punished because they demand equality with men. These women present a great challenge for the hardline government, and they are a force to be reckoned with, and the government knows it. My grandmother used to tell me that there's nothing more powerful than a woman that has made up her mind. And let me tell you something, Mr. Speaker, the women of Iran have made up their mind. They are not going to take it anymore. And like their sisters in freedom 100 years ago, they are not going to give in to the black-booted thugs that are trying to steal freedom and human dignity from them. Iran is their country. These women are no longer going to be treated as second-class people, and woe be to them that try to stop them. The daughters of Iran have inspired the world with their bravery. Their cause is righteous. Their actions are just. And may the Almighty that rules the universe make them strong and courageous. And that's just the way it is. I yield back.